Good.
Hey, could you just talk a little bit about what you've seen in terms of what what the coaches have given Trevor in terms of his responsibility with the offense? There's been it seems to be a movement to try to empower him with more, and as they go along, coaches tend to trust veteran quarterbacks more. Have you seen a noticeable jump in that regard this offseason?
Most definitely. The keys are his, and we kind of have the saying, Trevor can get to anything at any time, and it's basically his toolbox of all of the tools that he's been equipped with within the offense. And when we go out there, if he sees something on the fly, or if the defense comes out and something that maybe we weren't expecting, and he knows where to go and what to get to get us into a better play, they trust him to be able to do that. And that's a thing that we did really well, especially towards the end of the year, is just being able to read and react, and him kind of thinking on his toes, but also knowing what we're good at and being able to identify those mismatches. So he does a really good job and communicates with us, skill players especially, of where his mind is going into weekly of what he can get to.
When you look at the quarterback that he was in the 2 games against the Colts last year,
Mm-hmm.
and where he is now, is it night and day, or is that too dramatic of an analogy?
I think he's played at a high level for a long time. I know early on in last year, his second year in the league, there was definitely, some learning curves, but I still think he was playing at a high level. It was just more of us coming together as a team and learning how to play together. But, he's progressively getting better, but I wouldn't say there's a drastic difference in, his level of play.
The offense as a whole, how different is it this year from what it was last year?
I would say there's some similarities, but it's different in a sense of just the way that we operate. You just feel the efficiency, the effectiveness, and everybody's on the same page. Kind of talked about it a lot, this offseason, of being able to see, tons of different looks and reps, and being able to get time on task, having a full, season in this system. You come in now, and it's kind of like you know it like the back of your hand. You know what you can get, what works and what doesn't work, and what we're trying to accomplish on each and every play. That's a big part. You may have a route and a concept that you may think is, a route that, you're trying to get somebody else open, or, you're trying to do, one thing, but it really has a great impact on what you're trying to accomplish. So I think for all of us, we got more of a grasp on what we like to do and what we're good at.
Some high expectations for the team this year. How do those feel heading into the year?
I think for us, and, my mentality behind it is we have to block all that out. Now that's the difference, is now there are expectations for us. Last year there wasn't any expectations. So, people kind of started raising eyebrows when we were winning games last year. Now people are just going to expect us to do that. So for us, it's just going out there and, playing to our standard and playing to, our ability, and just taking it 1 week at a time, not being able to lose that edge and lose, what got us to where we were last year.
A lot of teams will use, the last loss in the playoffs as sort of like that motivator throughout the offseason. Did this team do that, or no? Is it more just about continuing the process?
I think it can be drawn from, in certain periods of time. I think it was spoken about a couple times. But I think that it's something that you can draw from, and it can be effective. Because the last time we took the field, that's what happened. And nobody liked that feeling. Nobody liked sitting in that locker room. And, when you go back and you put yourself into that moment, you realize and you remember how painful that was, just everything we had been through, and to come up short and to think about how close we really were. It's going to take a long road to get back to that. But you can pull from those moments, and you can use that as fuel and be able to push you through moments of adversity, and know, that when times get tough, that you can pull from certain things to be able to get you through that.
Division rival week 1. Do you guys like that? Is it exciting just to get that ball rolling early?
Yeah, it's a big game for us. Anytime we talk about divisional opponents, that's those are the biggest games on our schedule, because that's step number one in getting to where we want to be, is, taking care of our division. So, to be able to come out week 1, those are already, kind of heightened atmospheres, going into divisional territory and whatnot, being on the road and their stadium, and, we know how much this game means to them as much as it means to us, just to be able to get that. So, the adrenaline will be going, and, the level of expectation and standard and how we're going to have to execute is going to be at a high level. So, we expect to go out there and definitely, start off with a bang.
Do you get the sense that this team is far more confident than maybe you were heading into last year? Last year is a lot of newness. This year, like you said, you guys are used to the offense, things of that nature.
Yeah, I think confidence is in there, but I think I would describe it as we're just more comfortable with who we are. We know who we are, we understand who we are, and we're going to own that. And kind of going back to we know what we're good at, and we're not going to shy away from that, and we're going to kind of beat that into what we do, and we're not going to get away from that. And so I think everybody individually and as a team are comfortable with who we are, what we stand for, and what we do best. I know offensively we have that mindset, and I know as a team we have that. So I would say it's comfortability, but also confidence as well.
You talked about wanting to be a leader this offseason. Gone through preseason and training camp, how have you seen some of those traits, or how have you seen that kind of grow in yourself?
Yeah, it's just really getting to know my teammates on a different level, expanding my relationships, outside of the receiver room, and, making sure I know, or at least try to know, everybody on the team in a more of a personal and intimate manner, to where I can, sit down and have conversations with them, know where they came from, know their families, know what makes them tick, and, know how to be able to go and talk to them, throughout the season, throughout practices, when, I may see a guy having a tough practice or he may be tired, to be able to go over to him and just give him some words of encouragement. If I can just have that little bit of impact and be able to push guys a little bit more and bring them with, I think anything helps. But it's been really fun to just, grow as a leader and be able to see guys respond, especially in our receiver room. We had a young room this year, especially through training camp, and being able to see those guys evolve and know that they're listening. I think that's the coolest part is, they really, appreciate, the coaching and the knowledge that you may hand down to them. So it's been fun, and, I look forward to, kind of embracing that role throughout the season.
When we talk about all the weapons around the Jaguars offense, you get excited a little bit, but how much of it do you have to balance kind of you wanting to go get yours and show you're one of the elite receivers in the NFL, and that selflessness of what the team needs?
Yeah. I think I thought about it a lot this year, and it comes down to, number one, buying into, our ultimate goal, and one of the reasons why, guys like me and guys like Zay and guys like Evan were brought here, last year was to, obviously have an impact on the game, but to change the culture. And that's one of our ultimate goals, is to change the culture. And so, obviously personal, statistics and accolades, those come with, how well the team does, how much success we have. That'll all take care of itself. So if you buy into what we're trying to do, and that's win a championship here, the rest will handle itself. And, to me, leaving a legacy means, being able to make it to the postseason and being able to do something special here. And so that's where my mind's at. And, I know we have the pieces to do it. This is on paper one of the more talented teams I've been on, and I understand that. And so I don't ever want anything else to get slighted, from this opportunity to just be able to buy in and cohesively as a group, be able to make a push. So I think we've all kind of bought into just putting our pride aside, checking it in at the door, and coming together as one. And, we all know it's going to be week to week of who's able to have those opportunities to individually have a big game. But as long as we're walking off the field with a W, I'm sure we're all going to be happy.
Today's 904 day. Just what has being in Jacksonville meant to you, and how it's kind of changed your career?
Yeah, it's kind of gives me chills thinking about it, because it's changed my whole entire career. I never take for granted, and anytime I talk to Trent, I always say, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come here and be a part of this, because it's just I never forget or take for granted the opportunity that he's given me to be able to come here and be a part of this, and just walking around town and talking to fans, and not only what they say, good job on the field, great game and whatnot, but when they say thank you what you've done for Jacksonville, I think is the coolest part, because we're just out there playing a child's game, but the fact that we're having an impact on the city and the fans, and how they feel about us, I think it's always bigger than football. And so to be able to be a part of that and to be able to recognize how cool of a time it is to be a Jacksonville Jaguar, I think is the most important part. So it's had an everlasting impact on, changing the route of my career and, my life in general. Cool. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's cool.
How many times in your career have you tackled someone bigger than you? Because this quarterback is bigger than most skill position players.
Kind of when push comes to shove and if somebody got the ball in their hands, you just try to get him down. I know he's big. I know he's fast, explosive. It's kind of that mentality. Like, as soon as somebody gets the ball in their hands, you got to tackle them. So I'm sure I've tackled people bigger than me before.
Coach, talk about having a tackling plan. What's a tackling plan entail for a guy like that who can take off and run at any moment?
Make sure we have eyes on him. We know that, so far from preseason, it seems like he likes to get out and run, especially when plays break down. So make sure we have eyes on him, and when he breaks the pocket, be able to keep running our feet through contact as if he's a runner. A lot of times people might give up on a play early for the running quarterback, but, stay on your feet when he pump fakes if he does, be able to break down his stiff arm when he escapes the pocket, really treat him like a runner when he's running outside the pocket with the ball in his hands.
Continuity on this defense. Everybody's back. Play caller's back. Where is this group better?
It just what to expect out of specific calls that we have, being able to play off of each other, and already knowing where my boy is. Even if I might be dropping this way, my help might be to my left or something. Just knowing where all the pieces fit on the field, I think it's going to be huge. And then, hurry up. Obviously, being able to communicate with each other on the field, already knowing what to expect from each other out there. Just being able to play faster when we see a look.
What's the, chess match like when you're going against a rookie quarterback? A lot of people talk about defenses being able to kind of take advantage of that. Do you look at it that way, where you got a guy who's still learning, the NFL game?
I'm sure as the game goes on, or as the coaches scout him, we'll kind of try to see what a flaw might be. A lot of times you get a rookie guy, you confuse him with looks, maybe bring some pressure from opposite where it looks like it's coming, see if he can pick up on that. Obviously, he has great talent running the ball as well, a strong arm as well. So we'll see how to combat that as the game goes on or going into the game. But we got to see, kind of through film study, kind of through experience as the game goes, what we can attack him with.
You've led the league in tackles back-to-back years. You trying to three-peat that?
I'm trying to win as many games as possible. If the ball leaks out or if I'm in my gap and stuff, I make those tackles and I want to make more, obviously. I want to not miss tackles. I want to make plays on the ball. I want to just win games, do whatever it takes to win games. And, if God lets me be around the ball for tackles, that's how that goes. But having a goal to lead the league in tackles, it's really just effort, just getting to the ball as much as possible when it's required.
You guys knew you were obviously opening up against the Colts, so when they were on TV in the preseason, did you watch any of those games, or do you just do more film stuff?
Yeah, more film stuff. I kind of don't watch because announcers like to make things up and fill in for noise. They have to keep talking as the game goes on. Sometimes they'll talk about stuff that does not really go on. But sometimes they give them credit. They do know what they're talking about. But a lot of times, noise. So I like to just watch, my film study, the calls, kind of formations, really break down NFL film. If I'm trying to watch football for enjoyment, I'll probably watch a college game or something where I can just, not tendencies don't really match college to pro.
So does watching his Florida film help in any way, or no?
I don't know. I mean, they're breaking down some of his Florida film. I watched him a couple games back in the day, but I've watched a lot of his preseason stuff, the couple games that he did play, and then obviously that coordinator came from Philly, so I watched a lot of Philly film.
Did you watch any college games this week? Any good ones?
Yale did not play this week. No, I watched some. I watched all the big ones. Kind of flip through the channels. I like to just watch. I don't have anybody to pull for real. So I'm just a hater to everybody in the locker room. I just go there and make sure I I talk about how their team lost or was about to lose or something, just trying to stir the pot in the locker room.
I guess last year turnovers were the calling card, and you guys have been saying think turnovers. How do you make sure, I guess last year they were flowing at one point, kind of dried up, and then you got it back going again. How do you make sure that those flow to start the year?
Kind of what you said, just think about it. Understand the importance to it. We already went through practices during OTAs, during preseason. We're still always talking about it. Every time we get a turnover in practice, we show it on the board. We show it in the film room before we even start off our defensive meeting. Just putting that importance on the ball. You know, when you take the ball back, you give a possession to the offense, and, you know, they're electric. So give our offense more possessions, we can win games.
There's been a lot of high expectations that have been put on this team here in the preseason. Just curious, as a player, do you like seeing that when people perceive the Jaguars to be, you know, Super Bowl contender?
Oh, really?
Or do you look at it as just noise and it doesn't matter?
I was still stuck on they don't think we're top tier. I didn't know they gave us Super Bowl contenders. So I'm already fueled to prove, you know, what we can be. Yeah, I mean, they said we're a Super Bowl contender? Yeah.
Peter King wrote in his Monday Morning Quarterback column today that you guys would win the AFC.
I appreciate
and
that.
host,
We
No,
gotta
it
go out
said
and
be the
do it.
number one seed. That they go.
Yeah, same thing.
No, it's not, because
I'm
it's-
talking about hosting. You know what I'm talking about. But you would host.
Well, you said win the AFC, so that's what
Expectations are high.
They're
Let's
high.
just- yeah.
Yeah, we got to go out and prove it every week. I mean, it all starts with the first game, going forward after that. We're trying to get on a roll earlier than last year because we already know how it looks when it's not looking right. So we're trying to do our thing out there.
How different does the confidence in the locker room feel this year than from maybe the start of last season? Does it feel any different?
We're definitely closer as a team, I'd say, already this year. A lot of new faces from last year, you know, when I first came in. And then this year kind of feels like we're already gelling together, offense, talking to defense and stuff. Like, it's all cohesive in that locker room right now. So just keep those positive vibes going. And then energy is so important throughout the year, bringing in that positive energy, you know, good mindset, and just going out there and, you know, letting the juices flow off of that. Like, you got to come into every game ready to go.
Thanks, guys.
Can I get one more? I'm sorry. You've seen this offense for the Jags firsthand, training
Yeah.
camp. How hard are they to defend?
I like what they do. It's you know, I've seen some articles saying like pick your poison out there. I'm sure whatever matchup they want to exploit, they'll try to, you know, go to that. And then even if that's taken, you know, if it's one-on-ones out there, I like our guys in a lot of one-on-one situations. So I'm excited. I loved how we ran the ball during preseason. I'm excited how we got play pass off of that, and you know, everybody's fast, very fast. So they're gonna cause some problems out there. So I just want to see us extend drives, and then we give the ball back to them as much as possible and watch them work. Yep.
Appreciate you, Foye.
Appreciate it.
Yep.